This is an awesome bookmark. I'm trying to read. Shh. So today I have my first summer book review, and it is on Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, and this is the first book in the Percy Jackson series. I have to say this was such an enjoyable read. It was my first read of summer, and it's actually quite sunny today outside as well, which is kind of shocking. It's never really sunny in summer in the UK. It's always sort of spring that's really sunny, so I'm rambling right now, but that is how it is in the UK. If you're in the UK, you'll know what it's like. So I definitely did enjoy this. I really love the Greek mythology aspects of it, for certain, and I think this was definitely an easy read, which prepared me for all the other awesome reads that I'm going to read in summer. So this is the cover, as you can already see. It's quite a nice cover. It's quite a dark cover, you know. You're expecting quite a dark kind of read, which I guess it kind of is. And I actually prefer this to the American cover. I don't actually like the American cover. I think that looks a bit too nice. I definitely think that this fits the sort of situations better. So this, in my opinion, is a better cover than the American cover. But that is just my opinion. So now I'm going to read the blurb for you lot. And, you know, it's not really long. There's quite a bit of information, but it definitely sort of tells you about what this book is about and what the whole series is about. It's just really, really good. I want to read more of the series as soon as possible. Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. I never asked to be the son of a Greek god. I was just a normal kid going to school, playing basketball, skateboarding, the usual, until I accidentally vaporized my maths teacher. That's when things really started going wrong. Now I spend my time fighting with swords, battling monsters with my friends, and generally trying to stay alive. This is the one where Zeus, god of the sky, thinks I've stolen his lightning bolt, and making Zeus angry is a very bad idea. Can Percy find the lightning bolt before a fully fledged war with the gods erupts? That is a really good blurb. It definitely sort of set me up for such a great read, and now I'm going to talk about why it was such a great read. It was certainly such a fun read. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to tell you guys about it today in my first review for summer. So I guess we may as well just get onto my ratings. So for Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, the characters are going to get a 4 out of 5. I found the characters really, really interesting. I really loved and liked all the Greek mythology aspects and the characters, and I also loved Percy Jackson as well. I thought he was a great character, a very strong character and personality. I definitely think the development centred around him as opposed to the other characters, and this is kind of good and kind of bad. I guess we find a lot about him, which is really, really good. You know, I do want to know a lot about his backstory, which is really interesting, but it does sort of mean that the other characters are sort of left out in this. We don't actually find much about them when we kind of want to. I didn't really feel like I knew all the characters, whereas in some books I sort of know them all. They're sort of all equally described, whereas this is from the character of Percy Jackson, so obviously there's more about him. Sometimes I think from perspective of main characters it can be a bit annoying because you want to know more about the other characters, if I'm making sense. Definitely those that were journeying with him I wanted to know more about. I wanted to know more about their backstories rather than just Percy Jackson's. I guess you'd be able to relate to them more, but in general I thought the characters were really, really good, so I'm just sort of picking out little mind things here and there. I just think it's important to be quite harsh and critical in my reviews. Definitely over the summer period when there's going to be a lot, you need to really sort of stand out the really, really good books and sort of separate them in a fair, honest way. And the plot is going to get a 4 out of 5. I thought that it was a very nice plot. It was very easy to follow. Though if I'm totally honest, it didn't really seem to get going until about halfway through, which is kind of bad again. The first half was mainly character development, which is good, and the second half was more action, which is also good. So I would have liked it to sort of balance out more together rather than just being sort of separated more. Definitely if there was a mix it would be a lot better and it would be more interesting and exciting for the reader. But you know, nevertheless, I thought that it was really interesting and exciting. I really just loved reading it. It was so much fun. But I think what's persuaded me to give it a 4 instead of a 3.5 like I was maybe considering is the Greek mythology aspects. They really add to the book. They really add and sort of enhance it a lot. Definitely it certainly provided variation compared to other books. It made it very unique, which is always what I look for, definitely in the plot aspect of a book. So that made it really interesting to read, and I had to sort of bob my rating up to a 4. And I'm also actually going to give the writing a 4, and I was kind of considering actually rating this a 4.5 because I really enjoyed the style. You know, it's a very easy read, and I always love easy to read styles because it just provides so much fun, and I like reading to be easy and fun. I don't always like heavy writing styles. There was also a lot of nice description, but I maybe feel that some things were simplified at times, if I'm totally honest. You know, for the most part we got vivid, exciting, explanatory descriptions, and then at other times instead it was very simple. Things might have been cut back a tiny bit, I'm not too sure. I don't necessarily mind this loads because it does help you to get through the book very easily, but I have to sort of be honest and right in the writing. I do think that we could have known a bit more about certain aspects of the book and definitely the setting and the themes. There were definitely times where I wanted to just know a little bit more than we'd been told. Though, like I said at the beginning, it is the first book in a series. Maybe we'll find more, maybe some questions will be answered in the second book, which I'm definitely going to be reading. But another thing that really sort of put my rating down from a 4.5 was sort of the quotable sort of area of writing. I always look for quotable paragraphs and sentences. In my totally honest opinion, I don't think there was many in this book. It wasn't really impacting. I don't think there was really any stories and sort of quotes that I could easily take out. There were a few, but compared to many other books that I've read, there weren't many, and I always look for quotes in writing styles to really add the uniqueness and impact. But they were just a few minor little things. I'm sorry if I'm dwelling on the negative aspects in this review. It's probably going to end up that I'm editing all the negative bits instead of the positive bits. There are loads of positive things about this book, but I always, in my reviews, tell you about the negative things a bit more. I think definitely it makes it more honest and gives you a better picture, really. But, you know, those minor things would have given the writing full marks. Maybe the writing's going to improve in the future books. I don't exactly know, but it was a really nice style to read anyway, so it's not a bad rating. You know, 4 is actually a really, really good rating. So for the enjoyment, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 again. So it was a very solid, easy to read kind of book. Like I keep saying, I absolutely love the Greek mythology aspects. I really thought that added to the uniqueness of the book and really made it more exciting. It was so different. I don't actually know much about that, so it kind of actually persuaded me to look more into Greek mythology in the future on the internet or something maybe soon, because it really sounds very interesting. I don't know loads about that. I think I studied a bit in primary school about Greek mythology, but it obviously wasn't very much, and this really sort of got me back into it. Showed me again how great it actually is, how interesting it is. But obviously I didn't actually give any 4.5s because it wasn't very impacting. But I do have to say it is a children's book. Maybe this is kind of to be expected. Sometimes children's books are not very impacting. They are more sort of plot driven and character driven rather than impact driven, if that makes sense. That sounds really weird, but I think children's books sometimes are a bit lighter. But you know, with all my summer reviews, I will have to be quite critical and harsh. Definitely as we're comparing so many books in the summer, I think that, you know, I'm not overrating like I sometimes do. I'm not being really, really generous. I'm kind of giving more of an honest sort of... I'm always honest, I think, anyway, but I think that today I'm definitely giving a bit harsher rating, simply because I think there'll be so many more better books than this that I'm going to read in summer, and I am usually quite generous. So overall, as you've probably already worked out, it's a mean average of 4 out of 5. So this was a really, really fun read. I really did enjoy it. I really thought it was a great read to start off summer. It was an easy read, which is what I wanted. My goal to really start off summer was easy reads, really, that get me back into reading, because I haven't really read much for a month or two, simply because of exams, which were just rubbish, and I hate them. But they're over. They are over, you guys. You know, we can celebrate and we can read now, and summer is a great time for reading. Summer is like my main reading sort of time. Definitely summer provides so much free time for reading. I hope it stays so sunny outside. I really do hope that, because if it does, I can actually read outside, and that would be so much fun. But you know, what can we expect? Tomorrow is probably going to be raining loads. So a final thing I obviously have to say is who I'm going to recommend this book to, and I think there's definitely something in there for everyone. I would definitely recommend it to everyone. If you're interested in Greek mythology as well, that will be amazing. You will adore this book, basically, because it's heavily sort of Greek mythology based. But even if you don't know much about it, it does start to explain it, and I think that possibly if I knew a little bit about it before, it would have been a bit more understandable. I wouldn't have to really concentrate as much. What's this? What's that? I would kind of know, but I still think it's very easy to understand nevertheless. Just a few odd things that might confuse you if you're not really into that kind of thing. But you know, I haven't really looked at Greek mythology for ages, and I love this book. So, like I said, I would recommend it to absolutely everyone. It's such a fun read. You can get through it so fast. And that is it. This review is done and dusted. Finally, we have got to the end of this review. I don't know how long it is. I've kind of been rambling and stuff, but I don't mind rambling necessarily. I think reviews, if I just throw out so many thoughts and opinions, it's better than just making it concise, simply because sometimes you edit it down so much that there's not much information, you don't go into enough detail. I think this review is slightly longer than normal, but I'm not too sure. But it was my review, of course, of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, and I hope you all enjoyed it. My next review is going to be on The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, and I am ever so excited to read that book. Oh my gosh, I am having to brace myself right now because it's going to be a great read that I will love. It's a well-loved book by all, and I'm sure I'm going to love it. It does sound a different book than what I'd normally read. It sounds quite emotional and sad, but I definitely think that's the kind of thing that I'm going to enjoy because it'll provide a variation, and I do like to emote a lot with characters, so I'm so excited to read that, and I'm going to start out tomorrow. I don't exactly know when my review for that is going to be up, simply because I'm quite busy this week. I do have parents' evening on Thursday, and then obviously I have a few odd things after school. school, and then I've got to read the books as well. So the review might be later on in the week for that, but I'm hoping that you'll all enjoy that review when it's out, and I'm hoping I'm going to love that book. And yeah, so I'll see you all then. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, share and subscribe. Keep reading and have a great day. See you all later.